Welcome to the Piedmont. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Piedmont Unitarian Universalist Church. Piedmont UU sits on the traditional land of the Kiowa, Shugari, and Catawba peoples. My name is Robin Mara, and I'll be worship assistant today for the Reverend Dr. Amy Rio. We are a flourishing, vibrant, and radically welcoming congregation which promotes diversity, inclusion, and social justice. We provide a safe haven for creative intellectual growth, spiritual development, and a deep sense of community for all who join us. We hope our liberal religious values will challenge you to join us as a community that lives boldly and acts justly. To all our visitors, we're very glad you're here in person or with us online, and we hope to see you again. Your presence is a gift to us. We have some announcements for this Sunday. The church office is closed Thursday, June 19th, in observance of Juneteenth. Our Cup Summer Solstice Litha ritual will be held on Saturday, June 21st at 7 p.m. here at the University Gathering Sanctuary. Doors will open at 6:30 p.m., and we will be clearing and cleansing ritual objects. If you have an object you would like to work with, please bring it with you. We will have crystals for you to use if you don't have something already. You're invited to bring decorations for the altar and a snack to share if you like after the rite. Please feel free to bring drums or rattles. Everyone is welcome to attend. And next Sunday is a special Pride worship service here at the University Gathering, and we encourage you to invite your friends to worship with us. Reverend Amy will be out of the office from Monday, June 16th, that's tomorrow, until Friday, June 27th. Please check your weekly email for contact information if you need assistance during this time. And for other important information about our vibrant community, please see your order of service, or if you're on our email list, please check our monthly newsletter and weekly announcements. Whatever brought you to this place at this hour, we welcome you. May you find something you need, and may you leave richer in spirit than when you arrived.
Light illuminates the journey of freedom. Light coming from our friends and beloved community provides even more illumination. Our chalice lighting today reminds us that all our lights join together to brighten the world, to brighten it beyond what we could ever imagine. I invite you now to please join me in singing the words to lighting our chalice, the symbol of our faith. I invite you now to please rise and body your spirit for a call to worship found in your bulletin. Please join me now as we share these words together. Do not be alone right now. Gather together. Gathering together grows courage in ourselves and in others who see the numbers swelling. It is a small thing, but right now it is an important thing. Great sources of wisdom remind us. Just because you cannot stem the tide of all hate, it is still right to do the thing you can do. These things add up. Your one thing and my one thing. His one thing and their one thing and her one thing. Together it becomes a big thing. Do not be alone right now. Any liberation, all liberation, is collective liberation. My freedom is bound with yours and yours with mine, inextricably. Let us together cast our lots doing this big thing, bending the moral arc of the universe towards justice. Our opening hymn is found in our gray hymnal, number 148, Let Freedom Span Both East and West. Please be seated and invite any of our young ones to come forward for a time for all ages.
Good morning. How are you two so far today? Good. We were hanging out for a bit in the nursery, so I already got to talk to you this morning, but I didn't tell you a big surprise I have for you today. You're going to help me teach the grown-ups in here a lesson this morning. Are you ready? Okay, so this coming Saturday, the 21st, is the summer solstice. Some people call it Litha, but what it means is that's the official day that summer starts. So you two are going to help me tell a summer story. Do you want to know how you're going to help me?
I know how my story begins.
Yeah?
I'll pass to it.
Okay, so we're going to tell a summer story, and we're each going to add to the story. So together we're going to collaborate, and we're going to build something together as a team. All right, so I'll start. One hot summer day, there was a bear who liked to... What does the bear like to do?
Sweet.
There was a bear who liked to sleep, and he was sleeping for... How long should this bear be sleeping for, Harley?
10.
10 what? Days? Years? Hours? 10 days. So once upon a time, one hot summer day, there was a bear who loved to sleep, and he had been sleeping for 10 whole days. And during those 10 whole days, there was a little rabbit. What did the rabbit do? What do you think?
I think
Okay, so we have an Autobot rabbit. For those of you who are not in the know, we are very into Transformers this morning. So the rabbit is also a transforming robot. And what does this transforming robot do? Jasper's telling me something.
It forms into a bear.
Oh, the rabbit robot transforms into a bear. Okay, so one hot summer day, we have a bear who loves to sleep, and he slept for 10 hours. Days? Did we say days? We said days. Days. Thank you all for keeping me on track. And he slept for 10 days. And there was a rabbit who was a transformer rabbit, and he transformed into another bear. Now we have to have a problem. So, should this rabbit transforming bear be a friendly rabbit or a mean rabbit? Friendly rabbit. Okay, so we have our friendly rabbit transforming bear. And what does this transforming rabbit bear do? We fight. Okay, so they're fighting Decepticons. Are the Decepticons going after the sleeping bear? Yeah, okay. So we have a friendly rabbit who transforms into a bear to protect his bear friend from the Decepticons who are after him. Okay, I'm liking how the story's going so far. Let's wrap it up. Let's find an ending. Is the rabbit successful? Does he win?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, so he wins the fight against the Decepticons, and then his bear friend wakes up, and what does he say?
Thank you.
He says thank you for saving his life. I like that a lot. I think that's a really good story. Oh, the Decepticons are really bad.
No.
Oh, they're back. They came back. Okay, well, maybe we'll have to work on a part 2 some other time.
Yeah, and that's going to be next fall story on another Sunday.
On another Sunday, you're going to tell me the next part of the story? I got to give you time to think about it. You got to create it in your mind. I understand.
Pandas have powers.
Oh,
They can turn their head into powers.
okay. So there's superpowers, and they can, like, turn their hands into different tools and stuff. That's really cool. I'm going to let you two work together and collaborate to tell that story. Maybe you can let me know next Sunday. How's that sound? Good. All right. We are going to head back to the nursery.
Can we all growl? Bear happy?
Yes! Can everybody growl like a happy bear who got saved by the Decepticons? Ready? 3, 2, 1, growl! Very nice. All right, we're going to head back to the nursery where we're going to play with our imaginations and work together to finish that second part of that story that you were telling me about where the Decepticons come back. We've got the magic changing hands. I love it very much. Thank you so much.
I am really glad I saw those first couple Transformer movies years ago, so I can have just a little bit of an idea of what those little boys are talking about. So, you know. Yeah. So. Oh, I'm sure Harley will tell me a lot more. Yes, I'll find them after church. So at this point, we are entering to our time for ritual and sacred sharing. A time for joys, sharing our joys and sorrows, concerns and milestones. So we light our first candle in observance of Juneteenth this week. For all who have been like loving fathers to us on this Father's Day. For Mimi, who had foot surgery this week and is home and is recovering from that. And I know for a number of weeks now we've been holding Ron in the light from our Salisbury gathering, and he passed early last, I guess it was late last Sunday night. And so we want to hold his wife Karen in the light, Karen F., as she's continuing to move forward. Right now, we don't have any kind of plans for a service. We'll be looking at that at some later time. We light a candle for Susan B. with her health concerns. For the lives lost and those affected by the politically motivated shooting in Minnesota over this early weekend. For everyone impacted by the devastating plane crash in India. For everyone who has been impacted by the events in LA and ongoing protests, and then for the safety of the protesters who are standing up for other people. For the immediate relief of the people of Gaza. For all areas of violence around the world, especially the Middle East, the Sudan, Haiti, and the ongoing war in Ukraine. And for our country, that we will continue to work towards creating a society which is filled with love, empathy, civil rights, and freedom and justice for everyone. Now, at this time, you are invited to come forward as you feel called to do so. You may come forward along the far wall. We have our prayer stand where you may fill out a prayer card to place it on that. You may light your own candle of joy or concern, or you may place a stone in our shared water together. We now light a few more candles for the things we hold in our hearts which remain unspoken, and also for those who are joining us virtually to honor what is in their hearts as well. I invite us now into a time of quiet rest or meditation or prayer. I will sound the singing bowl, and then we will have a period of silence. Now, during this time of silence this morning, I invite you to settle more fully into your body and to slow your breath and to listen to what that inner divine light, what Spirit speaks to you this morning.
For today's wisdom reading, we have words from Thomas Merton. There is something in the very nature of my freedom that inclines me to love, to do good, to dedicate myself to others. I have an instinct that tells me that I am less free when I am living for myself alone. The reason for this is that I cannot be completely independent. Since I am not self-sufficient, I depend on someone else for my fulfillment. My freedom is not fully free when left to itself. It becomes so when it is brought into the right relation with freedom of another.
I'd like to begin today's message with a little bit of background about how we come up with the monthly themes we use in worship. I know some of y'all, if you're on the worship team or some other leadership positions, you may be aware of this, but many don't know this. So it's pretty typical for UU churches to have themes that they use for worship, but also for chalice circles. If you're in a chalice circle, you'll see the worship themes usually go with what you're talking about in the month, but also for our religious education. Maria uses those same themes. Now, we receive the material that gives us the themes and then some different ideas and suggestions for that from a national subscription called Soul Matters. Now, Soul Matters provides themes for September through June. And it's about this time of year that I get the themes, just the words, or sometimes maybe 2 words, for the upcoming year. So it was a year ago that I received the themes that we've been working with in recent months. Now, July and August are kind of takeoff times for that, where I can get really creative, and occasionally, I do step away from themes for special things. So in early January, I began to look more concretely at the themes going through the month of June. And I noticed that freedom was the theme for this particular month. Now, this is early January, right? There's a presidential inauguration coming up about 2 weeks after I'm looking at this. And I knew a number of things that the then president-elect had said on this topic of freedom. And I really thought about, is this the topic I want to use in June? And I don't even know, none of us knew what might be going on in our country in June. But as I'm working with our worship themes and how we go about worship, I always spend a good amount of time in prayer and silence, trying to listen for Spirit and where Spirit is calling. And so back in early January, I knew that we need to stick with this theme. In fact, it might be more important than I might realize at that moment. Of course, back then, none of us knew what would happen in LA in just over the past week. So many of the ICE raids that have been happening around the country, even here in Charlotte. We didn't know that yesterday would be filled with over 2,000 protests nationally for freedom and against autocratic rule. And of course, so many of our church members were present at rallies yesterday in Charlotte and Concord and Salisbury, standing up for other people and for our nation's freedom. Now, freedom, this word, this concept, has so many layers to it. Now, last week we discussed that a core value for UUs is that people should be free to explore their own spiritual journey, their own unique spiritual journey as they are led by divine light to do so. That's a foundational principle for us here. It's also a founding principle of this country, freedom of religion, that the state will not dictate it. So last week's perspective was on individual freedom. But for today, the individual freedom to explore one's spiritual journey needs community. Community is essential for this exploration. Now, freedom is truly found in connection. Many of you, I'm sure, have heard the famous quote from civil rights leader Fannie Lou Hamer: "No one is free until everyone's free. No one is free until everyone's free." Now that's at the heart of what we're seeing with these protests that we're having, not just here in this country, but protests which have been taking place in allyship with us in other countries. Seeing people illegally taken by government agents and denied their freedom, denied their rights. We know today that Hamer's words are so true and powerful. No one is free until everyone's free. But when we look at freedom and community, our understanding of community and connection really should be twofold. Now, if we just talked about for a few moments, as people of faith, we value the divine light in every single person. And thus we will stand up for others when they are being harmed. That's the first aspect. The second aspect about freedom and community is this: we need connection for the health of our own spiritual journey. We need connection. We are not able to best stand up for everyone's freedom for other people if we ourselves are isolated and not connected. Now, if we disregard others in our spiritual exploration, and this might be other humans, but also creation, all creatures around us, we can easily make ourselves our own deity. History is littered with examples of people who valued their own spiritual freedom without the boundaries and accountability of a community. We can look at all sorts of cult leaders and others who have set up even smaller individual areas where they believe that God told them to do things, and there was no community to help provide support or accountability, and thus awful things were done. Spiritual freedom does not mean that we can do whatever we want, whenever we want. It means that we need a grounded community so that our freedom might be explored to its highest potential. We need connection for both support and accountability. Now, if we don't have those things in our lives, we end up making ourselves our own God. Now, the Quakers have a beloved tradition called a clearness committee. Some of you might have heard of this. Now, you might be aware that Quakers value silence. A traditional Quaker service is actually only silence for worship. People sit, and if spirit moves someone to speak, then and only then does someone share these words, whether it's a single word or several sentences. Now, many Quakers today have a modified worship service, and I was fortunate to be a kind of a fill-in preacher for a couple years at a modified Quaker worship service community in Winston-Salem. Now, half of the service is programmed with music and, someone who speaks like me and prayers, and then the other half is silence. And I've been in some services where not a word was said for the 30 minutes or so that we held the silence. Others where Spirit moved people to say a number of things. One of the most powerful things I've experienced in worship is sitting in silence, feeling the movement of Spirit in that still place of worship and community and connection. Letting the Spirit take precedence over anything that I might think or say from ego instead of from soul and that divine light. And so a Quaker clearness committee occurs when someone in the community is facing an important decision. And they call together a small group called the clearness committee. This group will gather normally in a circle around the person who explains what their decision is, what their issue is, and their situation. And then the group sits in silence. Now, this might go on for a long time. They remain in silence until Spirit moves someone to speak. Now, sometimes the words spoken aren't obviously about the situation. There's been so many times that I have felt compelled by this divine light to say something that didn't make any sense to me, but they made sense to the person who heard them. Now, a clearness committee provides support, discernment, and accountability. The most powerful spiritual freedom comes with a community of support and accountability. People who support our exploration, how we are called to live our lives, no matter how foreign it might seem to them. And also people who are not afraid to speak up when kind words of accountability are needed. Now, I like to call this a get a grip soul friend. Get a grip soul friend. The person who speaks honestly with love and compassion, even if it's not really what we want to hear, and especially if it's something we might not want to hear. Those are the people we need in our lives. That is the kind of community we should strive to be. Unconditional support, kind, loving, patient accountability. Nick Montgomery and Carla Bergman shared these words: friend and free. Friend and free. Those words in English come from the same Indo-European root word, which conveys the idea of a shared power that grows. Being free and having ties was one and the same thing. I'm going to repeat that. Being free and having ties was one and the same thing. I am free because I have ties. I am free because I am linked to a reality greater than me. Spiritual freedom is about our own exploration within beloved community. Spiritual freedom increases our own self-awareness with radical honesty, and self-compassion. It's a journey that takes a great deal of courage. And it's the greatest undertaking that we can take in our lives. Freedom is found in connection. It is found when we work towards freedom for all people. And it's found when we are in a beloved community of accountability and support. Now I leave you with these two lines from Adrienne Marie Brown. The days are all too heavy, and then we lift together. May it be so, blessed be. Amen.
Thank you, Anne. We are so grateful for you. Now let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and of hope, for we are now the keepers of that dream. This month, we're sharing our offering plate with GreenFaith. And because the earth and all people are sacred and at risk, GreenFaith is building a worldwide, multi-faith climate and environmental movement. Together, GreenFaith members create communities to transform ourselves, our spiritual institutions, and society to protect the planet and create a compassionate, loving, and just world. Our hosts will pass around the baskets, and we ask that you pass the basket down your row when you receive it. You may place your gift in the basket as they make their way around the room, or you're always welcome to give online at puuc.org or by texting PUUC at the number 73256. Today's offering will now gratefully be received.
As always, we give thanks for the gifts contained within these baskets and for the gifts that each one of you offer this beloved community. I invite you now to please rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn found in our Till hymnal, number 1018, Come and Go With Me. Yes. Before we extinguish our chalice, I offer thanks for all the many people, many volunteers who help make our worship service possible each Sunday. I also ask that before you leave today, if you can take your hymnals and place them on the cart near the piano, that is always a big help. Now let's take a moment to give thanks, either in our hearts or with words for others to hear, for the things for which we are grateful today. Yes, Ann.
I'm grateful to Sue and Linda and Jack for the leadership that they have provided all year to the social action team.
Yes, many thanks for our social action team and the wonderful leadership they provided in helping get a good number of our members out involved yesterday and also in so many other ongoing, very important ways.
I am thankful for Republicans who joined the No Kings March yesterday.
Yes, for everyone who joined the No Kings, no matter their political affiliation, yes.
I'm grateful for connection.
For connection.
And I'm grateful for vacation.
Vacation, yes. Glad to see you back too, Karen. So-
I'm grateful for that.
I'm grateful for Brian Wilson and his song.
I know. That song was so perfect. We are so grateful for Brian Wilson and, of course, who we lost, and also Sly Stone this past week. But, but thank you, Ann, for helping us remember him and such a wonderful, blessed song.
Grateful for being a father because that means I have some wonderful children.
Oh, grateful for being a father and also your wonderful children. Yes, Jeff. So.
And I'm grateful that Jeff is a great dad.
And Paula's grateful that Jeff is a great dad. Absolutely. We are grateful for all these things and so many other things that we carry in our hearts this morning. Let us go forth, giving thanks for the freedom that we find in connection. We now extinguish our chalice, but we carry its light, its warmth, and its meaning with us until we meet again. May we go in peace, believe in peace, create peace wherever we may wander. May it be so. Now for our closing song, we form a circle. You may hold hands if you would like to, or you may simply place your hands on your heart.